All right, buckle up everybody, because today we are diving deep into a case that has fascinated and, let's be honest, confused people for decades.
The Billy Meier case.
Oh yeah, the Swiss farmer who says he's got mountains of proof he's been hanging out with aliens.
It's a story that's definitely out there, that's for sure, but what sets this case apart is the sheer amount of supposed evidence.
Right, we're not just talking about some blurry photos or stories passed around campfires.
We're talking hundreds of photographs, videos, audio recordings, even metal samples.
This guy didn't just say he saw something strange in the sky. He went all out in documenting his experiences.
It really is unlike most UFO stories you hear.
Okay, so where do we even begin with this one? I guess with Meier himself.
Billy Meier, born in Switzerland, claimed that his encounters with extraterrestrials began when he was just a kid in the 1940s.
Okay, so this is like a lifelong saga for this guy.
That's what he says. And he wasn't shy about sharing his experiences.
So let's rewind back to his childhood. He says he saw his first UFO at age 5, a silver reflective disc.
And get this, his dad supposedly saw it too.
A father-son UFO sighting. That's a bonding experience you don't hear about every day.
Now hold on, because it gets even more interesting. He also claims to have had 22 years of telepathic communication with 2 different extraterrestrials, starting at that same young age.
Wait, you're telling me this 5-year-old was having mind chats with aliens?
That's what he claimed.
I mean, how do you even begin to prove or disprove something like that?
It's definitely a tough one.
All right, so we've got this kid talking to aliens with his mind. And then what? What happens when he grows up?
Well, according to Meier, things escalated in 1975 when he had his first physical encounter with an extraterrestrial being named Semjasi.
Semjasi, is that like a common alien name or something?
Not that I've heard, but according to Meier, Semjasi appeared human-like, but with one very distinctive feature.
I'm on the edge of my seat here. What was it?
Very long ears.
Long ears. Okay, that's kind of specific. Did he ever say why?
You know, I don't think he ever explained the particular detail, but that's not all. Meier claimed that Semjasi and her people, the Pleiadians, came from a dimension beyond our known galaxies.
Wait a minute. Another dimension.
Yeah.
Not just a different planet or star system, but a whole other dimension.
That's what he said. And get this, he claimed they could travel vast distances in practically no time.
Seriously? Like how fast are we talking? Warp speed?
Meier said it took them only 7 hours to get to Earth from their home dimension.
7 hours. That's quicker than some of my flights across the country.
It's mind-boggling, isn't it?
All right, so we've got interdimensional beings with long ears zipping across the cosmos to visit a Swiss farmer. Where do the photos and videos fit into all of this?
This is where things get really interesting. Meier claims that over 5 years, he had 120 encounters with Semjasi and other Pleiadians. And during these meetings, they allowed him to document their spacecraft, both with photographs and videos.
And this is where things really get wild, right? Because Meier's photos and videos are unlike anything else we've seen in the UFO world.
It's true. They're incredibly detailed and cleared, especially for the time period.
I mean, have you seen that photo with the 3 flying saucers, 2 of them supposedly remote-controlled? Or the video of the saucer hovering and spinning around a tree, making it wither and die?
And he even films himself walking into the frame while filming a saucer. He said it was proof that he wasn't using models or trick photography.
Okay, so what did the experts say about all of this? Did anyone actually analyze these pictures and videos?
Multiple independent analyses were conducted over the years, and the experts concluded that they couldn't find any evidence of tampering or special effects in the original film reels.
So no one could definitively prove that they were fake. That's pretty significant, especially considering the technology available back then.
It certainly raises some eyebrows. And it gets even more intriguing when you consider what the scientific analysis revealed about those saucers.
Okay, I'm ready for more. What did they find out?
Well, based on their analysis of the photographs, experts estimated that the saucers were about 7 meters in diameter.
That's pretty big. And what about the sounds? You mentioned audio recordings earlier.
That's another fascinating piece of the puzzle. The audio analysis revealed a complex composition of 32 different sound sources.
32 different sources. That's incredible. I mean, how would you even create something like that back then?
Experts at the time said it would have been incredibly difficult and expensive to replicate, especially with the technology available in the 70s and 80s.
So they're basically saying it would have been easier to build a real flying saucer than to fake those sounds.
Well, that might be a slight exaggeration.
But you get the idea. All right. What about those mysterious metal samples he gave them? I've heard whispers about those.
Ah, yes, the metal samples. They're a whole other rabbit hole.
Lay it on me. What's the deal with those?
Meier provided researchers with these metal samples that were supposedly from the Pleiadian spacecraft, and when those samples were analyzed, they found something very strange.
Okay, I'm hooked. What was so strange about them?
They contained a unique combination of common and extremely rare elements, all fused together in a way that was impossible with Earth's technology at the time.
You're telling me this Swiss farmer somehow managed to create metal alloys that were beyond our scientific capabilities.
That's what the initial analysis suggested.
And to top it off, I heard that those metal samples eventually just disintegrated into powder, like they couldn't exist here for too long.
It's true. The metal samples eventually crumbled into dust, as if they were somehow unstable outside their originating environment.
Wow, that sounds like something straight out of a science fiction movie.
It definitely adds another layer of mystery to the whole case.
So we've got mind-blowing photos and videos, sounds that seem impossible to fake, and metal samples that defy our understanding of physics. What else did Meier claim about these Pleiadians? What did they tell him?
Well, this is where things get even more interesting.
Hit me with it. I'm ready for anything at this point.
Meier claimed that the Pleiadians shared all sorts of information with him about their advanced technology, about other extraterrestrial races visiting Earth, about human history, you name it.
Like, what kind of information are we talking about here?
So-
Give me the highlights.
Okay, are you ready for this? He talked about witnessing a Pleiadian laser weapon used to cut through a tree. He claimed they gave him information about anti-gravity propulsion and how to control inertia, and he said they even warned him about other potentially hostile extraterrestrial races visiting Earth.
Hold on. Anti-gravity propulsion,
Yeah.
controlling inertia, that's like straight out of Star Trek.
Right. And then there's the whole idea that the Pleiadians influenced human evolution millions of years ago, and that human civilization has gone through these cycles of advancement and self-destruction over and over again.
Okay, now my head is officially spinning. So we've got advanced technology, warnings about other aliens, and a whole new perspective on human history.
It's a lot to process, that's for sure.
So out of all the people on Earth, why did these Pleiadians choose Billy Meier to share all of this with? What made him so special?
According to Meier, the Pleiadians said they chose him because of his unique soul and his ability to perceive them.
So it wasn't just anyone who could hang out with these interdimensional beings.
Apparently not. Meier claimed they tried to contact over 20,000 other individuals, but failed.
Wow, talk about feeling special. But hold on, didn't you say earlier that some people think Meier is a hoaxer? I mean, this all sounds pretty incredible.
Oh, there's definitely a lot of skepticism surrounding this case. And in part 2, we'll dive into those criticisms and explore the other side of the story. So stick around, because we're just getting started.
Okay, I'm definitely intrigued. But before we go there, what are your initial thoughts on all of this? Is any of this ringing true for you, or does it sound like a complete fabrication?
That's a great question for all of our listeners out there. What stands out to you as compelling, and what seems far-fetched? Keep those questions in mind as we unpack more of the evidence and skepticism surrounding the Meier case in part 2.
Well, I can say for sure we've only scratched the surface of this incredibly complex and controversial case. Stay tuned, folks. The deep dive continues.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time to put on our skeptic hats.
Oh yeah, things are about to get real.
Because, let's face it, the Billy Meier case isn't exactly universally accepted.
To put it mildly, there are a lot of people who think this whole thing is a big hoax.
And that's understandable. The claims are extraordinary, to say the least.
So where did the criticism start? What don't people buy about Meier's story?
Well, one of the most common critiques is that the photos and videos just look too good to be true.
Yeah, like suspiciously good.
Exactly. They're so clear, well-composed, almost dot perfect. Critics argue that they look more like something created with models and special effects than genuine photos of alien spacecraft.
Especially considering this was back in the 70s and 80s when special effects weren't exactly what they are today.
That's right. Critics say it would have been relatively easy to fake this kind of evidence back then.
But didn't we hear in part 1 that experts analyzed the original film reels and couldn't find any signs of tampering?
That's true. There have been multiple independent analyses over the years, and none have conclusively proven that the photos and videos are fake.
So it's a bit of a stalemate.
In a way, yes. The evidence is inconclusive, and people are left to draw their own conclusions.
Which, let's be honest, can get pretty heated in the UFO community.
You're not wrong. Another big criticism is that Meier's claims are just too outlandish, too far out there to believe.
I mean, interdimensional beings traveling across the universe to hang out with a Swiss farmer and share their wisdom. It does sound like something out of a sci-fi movie.
And that's the point critics make. They argue that it's all just a bit too fantastical to be real.
It's like, come on. Aliens chose to reveal the secrets of the universe to this one guy.
Right. And some critics also point out that Meier's story has changed over time. Some details have been added or altered, which they see as evidence that he might be making things up as he goes along.
So the story itself isn't completely consistent. That's definitely something to consider.
And then there's the issue of those metal samples. While the initial analysis found them to be unusual, some skeptics argue that they could have been created using advanced techniques here on Earth.
You're saying humans could have made them?
That's what some people believe. They suggest things like sophisticated electroplating methods could have been used to create alloys that appear to be beyond our current capabilities.
So it's not necessarily alien tech, just really advanced human craftsmanship.
That's the argument some critics make. They say we shouldn't jump to conclusions about extraterrestrial origins without exploring all possible earthly explanations.
I see. So it all comes back to the evidence, or lack thereof.
In a nutshell, yes, the Billy Meier case is full of intriguing evidence, but there's no smoking gun. No absolute proof that definitively proves or disproves his claims.
So we're left with this giant question mark hanging over the whole thing.
Pretty much. It's like a giant jigsaw puzzle with some pieces missing. We can try to put it together, but we might never have the complete picture.
It's frustrating, right?
Yeah.
We want answers, but we end up with more questions.
That's the nature of the unknown. But even without definitive answers, the exploration itself can be incredibly valuable.
You mean just trying to figure it all out, even if we never really know for sure?
Exactly. The Billy Meier case makes us confront our assumptions about the universe, about the possibility of extraterrestrial life, and even about the nature of reality itself.
It's a total mind bender, that's for sure.
But it's a mind bender that can lead us to some really interesting places.
So you're saying that even if Meyer's making the whole thing up, there's still something to be gained from exploring his story.
Absolutely. Because whether we believe him or not, his story has had a significant impact on our culture and how we think about UFOs.
So we can't just dismiss it as a hoax and move on.
Not really, because the impact is real, regardless of the truth behind the claims.
Okay, I'm starting to see the bigger picture here. But before we go there, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll explore the cultural legacy of the Billy Meier case. Stick with us, folks. And we're back for the final part of our deep dive into the Billy Meier case. We've talked about the evidence, the skepticism, and now it's time to explore something a little different.
The cultural impact.
Yeah, because whether you believe him or not, Meier's story has definitely left its mark on how we think about UFOs.
It's true. His case has seeped into our collective consciousness, shaping our perceptions of alien encounters and advanced technology.
I mean, even if you've never heard of Billy Meier before, you've probably seen his influence somewhere.
Absolutely. Think about all those images of classic flying saucers you see in movies, TV shows, video games.
Oh yeah, those smooth metallic discs with the glowing lights.
Those are often directly inspired by the photos and videos Meier presented.
So he basically created the visual shorthand for how we imagine UFOs.
In a way, yes. His imagery has become so iconic that it's almost impossible to separate it from our modern-day UFO mythology.
It's like, even if his story is a hoax, those images have taken on a life of their own.
And it goes beyond just visuals. Meier's claims about the Pleiadians, their advanced technology, their messages about humanity, all of that has sparked countless discussions, debates, and even inspired entire communities of believers.
It's pretty remarkable how one person's story can have such a ripple effect.
And it's not just about believing or not believing. The Meier case has also forced us to confront some really big questions about how we approach the unknown.
Like, how do we determine what's real when we're dealing with something that completely challenges our understanding of the world?
Exactly. How do we sift through evidence, weigh different perspectives, and ultimately form our own conclusions when we're dealing with something as extraordinary as alien contact?
It's a question that goes way beyond UFOs, right?
Absolutely. It's a question that touches on the core of human knowledge, belief, and our never-ending quest to understand our place in the universe.
I guess that's what makes this whole thing so fascinating. Even if we never know for sure what really happened with Billy Meier, his case makes us think, question, and maybe even reevaluate what we thought we knew.
And at the end of the day, isn't that what a good mystery is all about?
I think you're right. It's about the journey, the exploration, the challenge of grappling with the unknown.
And who knows, maybe one day we'll have definitive answers to the questions raised by the Billy Meier case.
But for now, the mystery remains. And that's okay. It's the mystery that keeps us curious, keeps us searching, keeps us looking up at the stars and wondering what might be out there.
And that's a good thing. Because that sense of wonder, that curiosity, that's what drives us to explore, to learn, and to push the boundaries of what we think is possible.
Well said. So, to all our listeners out there, keep those minds open, keep asking questions, and keep exploring the mysteries of the universe.
Because you never know what you might discover.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the Billy Meier case. We'll see you next time for another adventure into the unexplained.